If you've been struggling with gel X nails at home, this is the only tutorial you need. I'm breaking it down step by step so you can actually get a clean, long-lasting set that lasts you a month. I'm gonna trim my left hand to match my right, and you don't have to clip your natural nails before doing gel X. In fact, a lot of people actually use it to grow out their nails and protect them. But if you're going to do that, just make sure the tip fully covers your natural nail. You don't want your natural nail peeking through at the tip or the sides because that can affect how your set looks and lasts. Okay, so first off, we're starting with prep. This is where a lot of people go wrong, and this really affects how long your gel X nails last. So here I'm just pushing back my cuticles to expose that dead skin on the nail plate. This step is what helps your gel X nails sit flush with your actual nails, and it helps it not lift over time. And a lot of people have sticky cuticles, which means that your cuticle just pretty much sticks to your nail plate a lot more than others. And right here I'm kind of flicking it up so it's easier for me to clip off. These are the ones that I use, and I haven't done my nails in a while, so you can see the left side has a little bit of that sticky cuticle I was talking about. And when it comes to trimming, I'm only removing the dead skin, the part that looks white and lifted. I'm not cutting into anything that's still attached or living. And if you're not comfortable clipping your cuticles, you can absolutely skip this and just focus on pushing them back. Another important thing to note is that this should not be painful at all, and the sharper your clippers are, the more likely you're able to get it off in one piece. Again, I do consider this step optional. I feel like it's more of an aesthetic thing. And here I'm going to speed it up so you can see the difference in the dead skin versus the living skin. And you're going to see a lot in this tutorial that I do pull back my finger and kind of adjust the different angles so I can get the entire nail. I feel like clipping your cuticles gives you so much more nail space to work with. Now the next thing you want to do is clean off your hands. I'm going to use some rubbing alcohol to clean off the surface of my nails. I like doing this step before I use my drill because I think I have some leftover lotion and stuff on my fingernails, so I don't want any of that buildup getting on my nail drill. And so once your nails are all sanitized, I am going to bring out my handy dandy nail drill. I think I got this one from Amazon for like 10 bucks. And I'll be using these 240 grit mini sanding bands. The higher the grit, the smoother it is, and you can see the difference in these two bits in itself. I recommend using a mini sanding band when you're doing your prep because it can really fit into the nooks and crannies of your fingernail. And you just want to remove the white buildup on your nail and then scuff up the nail too, but I'm going to show it here. Obviously, I'm pulling back my finger to expose my entire nail plate. And you want to focus on lightly removing the shine from the surface. You want to gently rough up the nail plate so the gel has something to grip onto. Kind of like how paint sticks better to a wall that isn't super smooth. You want to keep your drill moving and stay parallel to the nail, not digging straight down. Because if you go in vertically and stay in one spot for too long, that's when you get what's called a ring of fire, which is that burning feeling or those little indents in the nail. And if you're looking at your nails and you're like, oh my gosh, I have rings of fire, what am I gonna do? Don't freak out because it's really not that serious. It just means the nail's been over filed, so it's gonna feel thinner or more sensitive. The main thing it affects is how long your sets last, because thinner nails don't hold structure as well. And you also might notice more heat spikes when you're curing your gel polish. And there's really no quick fix to this. You just have to let your nail grow out and clip it over time. So it's really about being gentle and preventing it. Next, I'm going to use some rubbing alcohol to get all of the dust and debris off of my fingernails before we go into sizing them. This rubbing alcohol is what I use as my nail dehydrator. And my nail tips for today are the Beetles Tip X Medium Stiletto. You want each nail tip to fit perfectly from sidewall to sidewall. It shouldn't be sitting on your skin, and it shouldn't be too small to where it's not fully covering your nail, because both of these things can lead to lifting and your nails popping off. These tips are also pre-etched, which means the inside is already scuffed up to help the gel grip better to it. I repeated that step for all of my nails, and I like having them laid out like this. And the last step for prep is to apply your primer. Primer is what helps everything stick to your natural nail. It removes oils and preps the surface so your gel X nails don't lift. Some people don't find it necessary, but think of it like double-sided tape. It just gives your nail that extra hold. Next, I'm going to apply a thin layer of base coat and cure for 1 minute. This just sets us up so the nail can be applied super nice and smooth. And I've been on the hunt for the perfect gooseneck lamp for all of my gel X nails. And this one's also just really cute, like it's a little kitten paw. And this gel X glue is seriously gonna last you over a month, like it really will. I like using nail tips that already have a built-in apex, which just means they have a natural curve for structure. My natural nails are on the flatter side, so this 3D nail glue helps fill in that space and give it a better fit. And when I apply the glue, I like to apply it in a line on the tip about the same length as my natural nail. That way it spreads evenly when I press it down at a 45-degree angle, and it should cover everything without getting any air bubbles. I feel like 3D glue is super beginner friendly because when you press it down, it pretty much stays there. And I'm going to show this step again. I apply the glue in a line, and I'm applying the nail tip at a 45-degree angle, kind of a hairline away from my cuticle. I don't want it all the way up to my nail. I say this because I want a little bit of separation from my cuticle to the nail tip so it can be easier for you to seal the cuticle with your nail drill. And you can see it a lot better here in the zoom in. The nail tip was applied a hairline away from my cuticle, and once that's all done, I flash cure for about 10 seconds or so just so it doesn't move around. And if you're a visual learner, I'm going to show it even better with this next one. You can see it from a side view angle. This is a perfect example of why it's important for me to use 3D nail glue instead of the liquidy nail glue. This just fills up the space perfectly, and don't forget forget to press down before you cure just to get any of those air bubbles out. The reason I had them is because I let the nail sit too long without holding it down. And once you have that perfect Gel-X application, you want to cure in the big lamp for an entire minute. Now we're going to seal the cuticle with a carbide bit. This is considered a safety bit because the top is rounded out instead of being sharp all around. Sealing the cuticle makes your nail look seamless, like it's growing straight from your natural nail instead of sitting on top. And you only want to file the plastic tip here and not the natural nail. You don't want to dig in either. Here's a little demonstration. You want to gently thin out that edge so it blends in smoothly. This is where having a safety bit really comes in handy because I can get closer to the cuticle because the end is rounded instead of being super sharp, because if it was sharp I'd probably get cut from this. And now I'm roughing up the entire nail tip. By roughing up the surface like this, it takes out the step of needing a base coat before you apply your gel polish, so definitely don't skip this step. Before moving on to the next part, you do want to dust away any of the debris. Now I'm using a little bit of acetone around the cuticle to slightly melt the nail tip into my natural nail. This seals the edge and prevents lifting and anything from catching onto your nail. I also lightly swipe acetone over the surface to prep it for the gel on top. And if you do this step, you do not need to apply a base coat before you apply your polish. And I promise you do not have to worry about your polish chipping or anything like that. And now I'm going to show you how you can do a simple builder gel overlay. When working with builder gel, I like using the longest liner brush I have. This is a 20mm brush. This is to even out the gel, and to actually apply the gel in bulk, I like using like this old used up nail brush that I'm cleaning off with acetone and alcohol. I'm just using this brush because I have nothing else to pick up this bead with, and you want a lot of product on your brush. Also, this exact builder gel is not available on Amazon, but I do have it in my TikTok showcase. So I like to start with a thin slip layer first. This is basically a base layer that helps the rest of the gel move and spread easily. Think of this like a base coat of paint or like a crumb coat on a cake. It just helps everything glide on smoother, and you don't want any empty space. Then I take a large bead of gel, enough to cover the entire surface area of the nail. Here you want to focus on putting it on top of the nail, and you want to push it lightly into the cuticle but not all the way up there. Leave a tiny gap in between so the gel does not flood into the cuticle, and then flow the gel all the way to the tip. Also, I forgot to mention, do not cure your slip layer. The whole point is that it's uncured gel. Now you want to use your long liner brush to guide the gel down. Spread everything out evenly, and you can move your finger around to help this process, but keep in mind that gravity is always going to pull the gel. I flash cure for about 10 seconds to keep the gel from moving so I can move on to the other nails. So again, let's do a speed run. I'm doing a slip layer, not curing. I'm adding a bead and flowing it all the way down using my long liner brush. This brush is perfect for that precise cuticle work, and when you check the reflection in the light, it should be a nice smooth line. And then I cure for 15 seconds. I feel like this color is giving clean girl, but the shape is kind of giving edgy baddie. I cure for 1 minute, and builder gel does leave a sticky inhibition layer of uncured gel on top, so I like to wipe that away with that same rubbing alcohol. I recommend you wipe this before you start filing because you don't want the nail filing and dust to get stuck on the surface of your nail. And you've officially made it to the final step of the video, which is using an ultra glossy top coat. A lot of you ask which top coat I use, and it's almost always one from Beetle, especially the one from their professional line because it is on the thicker side. And you guys, look at how shiny it makes my nails. This part is always the most satisfying of it all. I put it in the lamp to cure for a full minute, and this is how everything turned out. Super clean, super seamless. If you want to try this yourself at home, all the products I used are linked in my Amazon storefront under Gel-X Essentials, so make sure to save this video for the next time you do your nails. Don't forget to like this video if it helped you or you learned something new, and feel free to comment any questions you have down below.